All right, now we're getting into the really important key terms in this chapter. So first off, there's this word. It's called a transversal. And a transversal is a line that intersects two or more coplanar lines, not complement, at different points. So it's a line that intersects two or more other lines, okay? And so when we look at these, I'll look at this picture right down here. We have two lines, and then the T is our transversal. Okay, so this guy here is our transversal. Down here, T is our transversal because it's intersecting these two lines. And same for all of them, all of these. The T is the transversal. And what it does is it creates eight angles, creates the ones labeled here, 2 and 6, also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Creates 8 different angles. And those angles have special relationships. And that's what we're going to talk about. First off, we have something called corresponding angles. Angles 2 and 6 are examples of these corresponding angles. They have corresponding positions, corresponding angles have corresponding positions at each point of intersection. And what I mean by corresponding positions, I mean that they're located in the same place. Of each intersection. Just another way to say it. So, our 2 and 6 are corresponding angles because they're both, if you look at them, let's zoom in here. 2 is in the upper right-hand corner because I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? It's in the upper right-hand corner of this intersection. The same goes for angle 6. If I had 5, 6, 7, and 8, 6 would be in the upper right-hand corner of that intersection. So they are in corresponding positions. So angle 2 and 6 are corresponding angles. Angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding. Let's pretend like you can read that for a minute. Okay, next up we have alternate interior angles. Okay, alternate interior angles lie in between the two lines, those two being the ones that aren't transversals, and on opposite sides of the transversal. They're alternating the sides of the transversal, and they're in between the two lines. Let's zoom in here. So I have angles 4 and 5. They exist in between these two lines, so they're interior, and on opposite sides of this transversal T. So they're alternating. Alternate interior angles. And they have a special relationship we're going to talk about in the next section. Alternate exterior angles have a similar definition. They still alternate. They're still on opposite sides of the transversal, but now they're not in between the two lines. They're outside of the two lines. They lie outside of the two lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. Let's zoom in. So I have 1 and 8 here. They're on opposite sides of the transversal T. One's on the left, one's on the right, and they exist outside of these two lines. So they're alternate exterior angles. Finally, we have angles called same side interior. These are also known as consecutive interior. I think your book references them, calls them consecutive interior angles. They mean the same thing, same side interior or consecutive interior. And these types of angles lie in between the two lines and, like their name, same side, and on the same side of the transversal. So they're in between these two lines, and these ones are both on the left-hand side of this transversal. So they're same side interior angles. Let's give this a go before I send you on your own. So let's name all the pairs of corresponding angles here. So I'm just looking to match the pairs together, right? And there'll be 4 of them in this case. Zoom in for corresponding angles. We'll do them in blue. 1 is in the top left. 5 is also in the top left. So that's one of them. Angle 1 and angle 5. Two is in the top right. 6 is in the top right. So angle 2 and 6 are a pair of corresponding angles. Angle 2 and angle 6. Angle 3 is in the bottom left. 7 is in the bottom left. So that's a pair. Angle 3 and angle 7. And finally, angle 4 is in the bottom right, and angle 8 is in the bottom right. So that's our last pair, angle 4 and angle 8. Now let's take a look at alternate interior. I'll do these in green. Alternate interior. So we're only looking at the inside angles. So we can only look at 2 and 4 and 5 and 6. We don't need, because these are in between the two lines, we don't need 1 and 3 or 6 and 8. So 2 is one of the angles we can work with. It's on the interior. We want to go to the opposite side to find this one, and along the other, at the other intersection. So 2 and 7 are alternate interior angles, angle 2 and angle 7. Next, we're going to look at angle 4. 4. We have to look still on the interior, but on the opposite side to angle 5. Angle 4 and angle 5. Alternate exterior is up next. So now we don't need to worry about these ones in here. Those are interior, so we don't care about them anymore. We're moving on to the exterior. I'll do it in pink. Alternate exterior, I have 1. I'm looking at the other intersection, and I want the opposite side. So angle 8. They're both outside, and they're on opposite sides of that transversal. Angle 1 and angle 8. And finally, we look at angle 3. I want the opposite side of the transversal and along the other intersection. But we got to keep it outside. Other intersection, opposite side of the transversal, outside the two lines, looking to angle 6. Lastly, we have consecutive interior, or again, same side interior. We can name it either way. That's why I did it both ways here. Where we're looking, they need to be on the same side of the transversal. So that's our transversal. And they need to be in between the two lines. We'll do this one in orange. So if we look at angle 2, I need it on the same side of that transversal and in between these two lines. There's only one option, it's 5. So angle 2 and angle 5. And then finally, I have angle 4 is on the interior. I need the consecutive or the same side. It's going to be angle 4 and angle 7. Angle 4 and angle 7.